Small Talk. Let's just go. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Small Talk. You already know, two queens, two perspectives, one topic. Britt, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about your living arrangements. So the roomie versus living on your own. Let's get into it.
Okay, I currently have a roommate. I don't like it. I don't like it. Nothing against her. But for me, I just need my space. I really need my space. And I think it's hard going from like having your own space, because I did, but then y'all know how it is. Life is expensive, okay? So sometimes it's smarter to have a roommate. Doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, especially like when you got the random roommate, right? So like, and that can go both ways, because if you got a friend, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But if you have the random roommate, we don't know that person. So you're trying to get to know this person, who they are, their ways, what they're like, what they don't like.
Right.
You may like the toilet seat down and they may like it up. All those little things.
Right.
I think that's what makes it difficult. And I too like my own space. Like I like to be in my drawers from time to time by myself.
Yes.
Like not worrying about anybody. So I think that's I don't know. If I had to choose, I think if anybody really had to choose, unless it's for balancing financial reasons, which of course is very valid.
Yeah.
Just living on your own, having your own space, being able to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Is a perk. It's one of those good things.
Yeah. I've had some horror stories, and I just keep thinking about like when I was in undergrad, there was this individual, and she had honestly completely different belief system than I did. Like she believed that, she had a past life and she was going to be like a tree in her next life and like all these things. Right. And, I just have a very completely different belief system than she does. And so there would be days, and I would walk into the room and she would be like teaching people spells. And I'll never forget this one time I opened the door and she just had like this paper or something, and she was telling this girl like, okay, so you just put his name in the middle of the heart, and then you just have to circle it 3 times or something like that. As soon as I heard, and all you have to do is circle, I slammed the door. I was like, oh no, G-Ma, I said, G-Ma, you need to come clear up this room because I don't know what's got going on. And and she would do stuff like that all the time, right? And here's the thing, have your own belief system or whatever the case may be. But it was just that it was happening so often. She was not clean at all. Like, and that's that. But I've had some good stories too, right? Where this girl from my hometown, we knew of each other, but we weren't that close friends. So I'm like, okay, maybe this could work.
Yeah.
And honestly, best roommate I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, because you have that healthy balance where it's like, I know you and I know that you're not a serial killer, but I don't know you well enough to for things to kind of pop off, and you're not a complete stranger. So I that goes into like what I was going to say earlier about having a friend that's a roommate. Listen, there's people that are not friends anymore because they lived with that individual. Yes. And you just see a whole nother side of them that you didn't know before, or they simply get on your nerves. It's like having if it's a female and we're females, it's like having a sister, that sibling rivalry where it's kind of like, it can go either way. Yeah. You guys can turn out to be the best of friends, but then it's just kind of like, oh, you did what? Or, oh, you're inviting who over when? Like, no, I'm trying to study. Or, no, I'm trying to do this or trying to do that. No, I don't want to go out today. No, I don't want to entertain. The biggest issue with having a roommate, friend or not, is food. When I got to start writing my name or counting the pieces of rice, I don't know if you ever seen that like meme where the person put like he put his name on it and then he's like 3,565 pieces of rice, like don't touch my food. That's when it's real, because you hungry, you go in there and it's like, oh, my room, he'll be all right or she'll be all right. No, I won't be all right. Do not touch my food.
That's
like,
true. Okay, but even with that, right? Okay, so my current situation, she don't listen to the pod, so I could talk about it openly, right, with y'all. So sis is significantly older than me, right? Like sis is almost 50. And this is something that it irks my soul, okay? I like to eat healthy food, okay? I like food in general. I will buy something. Sis has never tried it. Sis don't eat it. And then she will go out the next time she goes to the grocery store and buy the same exact thing that I bought. Y'all, it irks me. Okay, here's the thing. And I tried it out. I tested it. I don't eat pita bread very often, right? But I was like, you know what? Pita bread, I'll try it out. Yeah, I've been living with this woman for about 2.5 years. I've never seen her eat pita bread. Okay, she don't eat pita bread, y'all. Bread. She went out. She went out and bought some pita bread, the same brand, the same like little flavor thing that I got.
Well, you put her on to something.
Here's the thing, I get it. Appreciate that. Love that for her. But every time, I don't want our food looking identical. And it's just a thing I have. It's like, get your own. Get your own.
But then that comes with everything. That comes with like, I mean, if you have a roommate that's similar in age and you're going out and then it's like, what are you wearing? Oh, I'm wearing red. Next thing sis comes out with red. Or what do you like? If I want to look like, we're not twins tonight. We're too old for this. We're not twins ever. So it's like, there's certain boundaries to having a roommate that you have to establish, but then like living alone can be kind of lonely too.
Yes.
It can be lonely.
It's true. It's true. As much as I don't like my roommate, but it's not that, y'all. It's not that.
Let me go call sis. Sis, you gotta watch this episode because
as much as I like to have a healthy boundary,
right?
Okay, of distance with my roommate, when she's not there, like in the house, I feel like, dang, it's mad quiet. I'm like, dang, is she coming home tonight? Like, is she okay? Is she good? You know, like I still do worry about her, even though we don't have that close of a relationship. You know what I mean? But and I'm a little scaredy cat. I really don't like being by myself. Yeah. And I know that. Yeah. And I'm the one. I'm locking. I'm checking all the doors. Yeah. Making sure everything's locked. Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's kind of like there's pros and cons to everything, but I think living alone, like you said, I'm scaredy cat too. I actually have alarms for no reason. Like I'll live in an efficiency and have an alarm system. Like knowing doggone, you don't need that.
You don't need it.
You do this and you can see your whole house. But like that's just how it was when I was coming up, you know, in my college days. But I just feel like, I don't know. So it's a different perspective for me too, right? Because I lived alone for maybe like a year. And I can't even really say alone because I had my child. Right. So I never like lived by myself. Right. But I feel like now being in a relationship, because that's something too. Your roommate is your partner. Yes, that's a whole nother ballgame. Right. Yeah. And low key, COVID, if you're in a relationship, pushed you to get to know your partner even more because y'all was stuck in the house together. Stuck. You learn the goods, the bad, and the ugly about each other, and I think that's it's important to do. But that's a whole nother ballgame. Like I said, when you're living with your partner, because you learn to like certain things, but you learn to like not bend the rules for certain things. Yeah. And then, you know, what if I need my own space? Like in the guest room is just not enough. Right. What do you do? Yeah. And okay, so question for you, right? So how do you feel about, because we've been talking how like it seems like a lot of benefits to living on your own, right? And not knowing, because to your point, your partner, if y'all decide to live together or whatever the case may be, or even get married, will be your roommate also. Yeah. So do you think that there should be a test period to figure out what are they like to live with, or like how do you feel about that? So for me, religiously, obviously you're not supposed to live with each other before you get married. That's shacking up. I get all of that, and it's 100% right according to my religion. Right. However, there's something about staying with somebody that you need to know before you say I do that I feel is necessary. Yeah. Why? Because you can do the little sleepovers, I think, You know, like the 2-3 days.
Right. Yeah.
We sleep at each other's. Mm-hmm. But that's not enough to fully get to know somebody. Number one, number two, you're there for a reason. So you're filling those days with date nights and movie nights. Right. And what are we gonna do? And da-da-da. It's not getting to know that person for their personality. So to answer your question, absolutely think that there should be a test period. Yeah. Why? Because you don't know what you're getting yourself into at all, and it's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, right? So I've always been conflicted about that because I'm like, okay, on one hand, I'm like, I grew up too, like that's shacking up, like you just don't do that, right? But then on the other hand, I literally think about, and what made me process this is because I was in a long distance relationship. We did distance so well, right? And we got used to just the distance. And then whenever we would go into whomever's town or whatever, it would be like, oh, you eat like that? Oh, wait. You put your shoes there in the house? Like it was literally the smallest things. And we were only with each other. It would be like a weekend or something like that, you know, with the distance. And then, so for me, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, even if it's like during an engagement, that engagement period. Yeah. I need to figure something out. Yeah. Because I don't want it to be a big surprise, you know, that it's like, and I'll be honest, I have some pet peeves, like, that other people might think are irrational. I don't care because they're my pet peeves.
Exactly. And it's funny you say that. It literally comes down to, like, luckily for me, we were able to coexist. Yeah. You know, together we adapted very well, but we're two totally different people. Right. So, but like, it can even come down to like ketchup. Because I was raised to put the ketchup in the refrigerator when you open it. He was not. Okay. So when you open it, you put it in the cabinet. So every time I'm looking for the ketchup, it's in the cabinet. I'm like, why? And every time I put it in the fridge, he's like, why is my ketchup cold? I don't want cold ketchup on my hot fries. So it's just like, it's little things like that I feel like, if you're in a relationship, it's leading to marriage or a long-term relationship, at some point you guys are gonna have to coexist in the same home, only to see if you can really live with this person, because there are a lot of things that you do not know until you're under the same roof.
It's true. Crazy. And even not even thinking about like romantic relationships, there are some friends that I have that I just won't vacation with. I just won't do it. And I had to learn that early on. And I'm like, yo, like, no, can't do it. Love you. Cannot be in a confined space with you for this, because it could come down to, like, at night I have a certain routine. I don't really like to talk a lot at night. Like, I just like to decompress from my day. Right. Some people, they like to talk at night. You know what I mean? And for me, it's like,
it's a truth, y'all. She don't answer the phone.
I don't. Okay, I don't. I'm a morning bird. I like to chat in the mornings. And most people don't like to. No. Right? I'm the type, for real. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, good morning.
No, absolutely.
And most people, they like to talk, you know, at night. For me, it's like, yo, you really want to have this long conversation when I'm trying to go to sleep? Yeah, that's the time to talk. I can't. I will fall asleep on you, and I will not feel guilty. Because you should know better, right? Like, you should just know better. But and I've found that out in friendships, not even romantic relationships, right? But just friendships. And it's like, Asia, you fell asleep again. It's like, when are you gonna learn? Yeah, I don't talk at night. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, pros and cons to everything. I think it all depends on the person. It all depends on your personality. Yeah. It all depends on your circumstance at the current time. Because maybe there's been times where it's like, I wish I had a roommate to help balance these things out. And then that too, when it comes to friendships and relationships, when you know the person basically and you're living with them, you got to go through bills. So it's like, who's taking what bill, when, where, and why? That can ruin a relationship, or that can cause some friction in your relationship, situationship, entanglement, whatever it is. So I just feel like you got to be sure. Having a roommate has its perks because you're never fully lonely. Yeah. But then it has its cons where it's like, I want to be alone. Or if you're like Asia that doesn't like to talk at night, but you're paired with somebody like me that's a chatterbox at night, you're in trouble. Yeah. So I think it depends on you.
Depends on you. Definitely, for sure. At the end of the day, do you, figure out what works for you at whatever season of life that you're in, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, because for me, I would love to live alone. My bills say otherwise right now, you know what I mean? And that's okay.
It's okay.
And I'm learning that with adulting, you know? But by the end of the day, yeah, just do you, whatever works for you, but just make sure that the people around you know that and know whatever boundaries or whatever quirks that you have, right? Let people know. So they're not walking into a situation blind if you're going to be in a roommate type of situation. But this has been another episode of Small Talk. You already know, 2 queens, 2 perspectives, 1 topic. We will see you on the next episode. Bye.
I was trying to